Hello everyone and welcome back to Prestige Reef. It has been quite a while since you've had an update on the coral room, and that is because I will be honest with you, not a lot changes in here on a day-to-day basis. Obviously the corals grow, I ship them out, and I get new corals in, but I don't know how many of you want to actually see a more regular update on what corals I have in. There are a few small things that I'm going to show you today. Some of them one of them is very interesting. I'm not sure if I've shown it to you before. And I've also started a little project in a jar, which I'll show you in a minute. Now before we get to that, however, in the last video I mentioned that I'm now doing an online video-based consultation service, and it has been so much fun. It has been brilliant. I've got to speak to you guys from all over the world. There's been a couple of Americans, a couple of Australians, and obviously lots of English people. And the feedback that I'm getting is that it is way more worthwhile than they actually believed. Now, a lot of these people are beginners. There obviously is something in that. But what I found very interesting, there's two things I found very interesting. The first is that people are buying so much stuff they don't need. And the second thing is some of the advice being given out to people is shocking. A couple of my favorite pieces. One of them was that this person had angelfish, and the person was informed that the fish won't eat hystrix because it's too pointy for them, which I'm pretty sure is not how it works. And the other one, which is a bit more serious, was one of my clients was advised that he could have 3 dwarf angelfish in his reef tank, which can be done. However, the dwarf angels he was sold was a flame angel, a coral beauty, which eventually the flame angel had to be removed because the coral beauty, because it was trying to just kill everything. The third dwarf angelfish was a flagfin angelfish, and that flagfin angelfish went on to eat lots of his corals. If you don't know, a flagfin angelfish is not a dwarf angelfish, and is very likely to eat your corals. And he spent hours and hours trying to catch that fish. I think I saw him on Wednesday last week, and then last night I got a message saying he's finally was able to catch it. So from just one call with me, I could have stopped all that hassle. But if you ask any experienced reefer what is the most important thing to be successful in this hobby, they will say research, and we will spend hundreds of pounds on a single light, but we spend £0 or dollars or Australian dollars or whatever on research, which it just doesn't make logical sense. So the reason I obviously benefit from it, but I also benefit from it in a different way, because after each of the calls I actually feel good. I feel like I've helped someone, so it puts me in a good mood for the rest of the day. So look, if you're skeptical, if you've had a call with me already, leave a comment in the comment section below this video to tell people how it went. If it was good, great, and if it wasn't good, then leave that as well. I'd rather have an honest opinion so that I can improve. So, but yeah, that's that basically. So let me get on to... Now, as you can see, I have an absolutely massive Aiptasia in here. Now, occasionally when the corals come in, they do have Aiptasia on them. I cut them off. Usually they get thrown away. Or, well, what you remember the last ones, I was sort of cultivating them in the sink. In what I would assume was an inhospitable environment. But instead I've got them in this jar. And the reason I've got them in this jar is because I've got some of these guys. Now, I don't know if you can see them on the camera. These are, I believe they're pronounced Bergia nudibranchs. I decided to start a little project. I was told you could breed them in jars, but I thought it would be fun just to try and breed them. So they are eating the Aiptasia, and I do actually have a backup source of Aiptasia if I need it, because one of my friends has plenty, and what I said to him, I said, you supply the Aiptasia, and then I'll give you the Bergia nudibranchs to basically as a returning favour, which only works for so long, because obviously once I've given him the nudibranchs that I've bred, I can then he'll then run out of Aiptasia. So I'll have to see, but I know very little about these guys other than the fact that they breed, they breed very well in captivity to create a small army, and they eat Aiptasia. That's the only thing they eat. So there is literally, if Aiptasia runs out, then unfortunately they don't have a food source. But I thought it'd be fun just to see. Right, so I've just turned off the main room light just so that it makes the coral stand out a bit more. But as you can see, everything is popping. There is actually less corals in here than usual. You can see there's a few gaps, and that's because the last 6 weeks have been absolutely unbelievable for me. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's obviously bought from me, because it has been the best 6 weeks that I've had. This is a piece which I need to show you properly from the top. 1 second. Right, now this piece appears to be pretty special because with grafted Montiporas you get green and red, and you get purple and red. But as you can see here on that corner there, this is a green, purple and red one. Now the purple is only tiny, as you can see, but it does appear to be spreading. It is growing out with the growth. So I'm going to see if I can try to cultivate this one a bit better by cutting it to see if I can promote the purple growth. But as I said, when I saw this, I'm not sure if I've showed this before. I've definitely shown it on Instagram before, but this is one of the coolest things I've seen in the hobby for me, like literally ever. So I thought I'd share it with you. There are a couple of other corals I want to show you. If I put this back. Right, now the next coral I want to show you is this red and black Lobophilia. Now this isn't for sale because I'm keeping this, and it has absolutely divided opinions. Recently, I was on Reef Dork's live stream, and I showed him this coral, and he was like, "Meh, no, I don't see the attraction to it. I'd rather have a nice, boring blue acro than this." But I've never seen one that's sort of this coloration, so I'm interested to hear your opinion in the comment section below. Is this a nice coral or a not nice coral? Because since that live stream, I've had some people go, "Nah, not interested," and I've had some people try and buy it from me. So it really is. I will create a video soon, actually, which is based around why we select what corals and what corals appeal to us. So it'll be one of my more philosophical ones, which I used to do. I've got a Fascination Favia, which, as you can see, I've only just got this. So I'm just it's got a little bit of damage around the edge, but it should colour up nicely. And the final coral in this tank to show you is of these. Right, now I have to be honest with you, I have never had any interest in these expensive chalices before, but because they really are crazy prices, and these two small colonies I got have cost me a huge amount of money, but for whatever reason people buy them. So each to their own. Why is this piece, what makes this piece and the one I just showed you more desirable than, say, any of the other ones that are below it? They're not great examples of the ones below it, but because they are nice, but are they worth the money? To some people, yes. But as I said, it's a bit of an odd thing for me to say, but for me, not usually. Now obviously those chalices are nice, but considering these trackies are half the price, less than half the price of one of these little tiny frags you've got here, for me it's sort of like a no-brainer. I'd rather have one of these, a more impactful piece, but each to their own. It's the same as why some people, I'm going to see if I can get it without scaring it, some people like gem tangs and will pay obviously a lot of money for one, even though in my opinion a purple tang is actually much nicer. But yeah, as you can see, everything is just doing really, really well still. So I can't complain. Now I know obviously I mentioned earlier that some angelfish can't be kept in a reef tank, and I am about to, this is one of those things where it's more of like do as I say, not as I do. So the hobby for me has become slightly different to how I experienced it before. So as I just said, I have to have little projects to keep me interested, because obviously once it's a business, it's not so much a hobby anymore, and I have to try and keep myself stimulated, because because of how this system's set up, and it sounds terrible, and it's like touch wood, it's almost like it's too easy for me now. So I have spoken about this for a long time. I am getting a tank in the kitchen. I had a 4-foot tank in there before. It was too small for me. I am going to get a 6-foot water box tank, I've decided, and I'm going to make a video series called One Fish versus One Idiot. And if this will work or not, I don't know. But in that tank, I'm going to have a large angelfish. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It could be an annularis. It could be something a bit fancier. It could be like a scribbled angelfish or something like that. I don't know yet. But the plan is to put the fish in the tank and then gradually introduce corals to it from obviously here, and see which corals it does and doesn't eat. Now, most people don't have this luxury. Most people will get an angelfish, put a coral in, and then go, oh, like, damn, it's eating my coral, what can I do? I have to get rid of the angelfish. Whereas I can take that coral out, put it back in here, and then pick a different coral and see if it eats that. And I'm going to see if I can create a full reef tank with a large angelfish in it. And the reason I think it will be interesting for me is because some of it, to some extent, is down to luck. A lot of fish have a reef safe with caution label to them, and I think that that is a false representation because it makes people believe that there's sort of like a 50-50 chance if that fish will eat coral or not. And it doesn't really work like that. So, for example, if you have an angelfish, and it's, like, let's say a flame angelfish, and you say it's reef safe with caution, it might be completely reef safe with all SPS corals, but it might be not reef safe at all with acans. So it actually comes down to what you're planning to keep with it, rather than if it's just a chance it will eat corals, because obviously there's a higher risk that it'll eat certain corals, and that's what I'd like to test. So this could be the worst idea I ever had, but I think it will be fun for me. It'll be fun to follow, and obviously let me know in the comment section below what angelfish you would recommend, and we'll see we'll see if I live to regret this decision. Now, I tried to be transparent with you, and to some extent that is to my detriment, because whenever you expose yourself to this many people, there will be people that say not very nice things, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, in the system behind me, I lost the cockbang butterfly fish. No idea why. It was eating, but I want to use this as a perfect example to show you how a cockband should be feeding before you get it, and also what you should do. Because this cockband behind me, which is here, which I'll show you closely in a minute, this has been in that little acclimation box for the last 4 days. And that's because if I just throw it straight into the tank, it will have a much harder time learning to eat. It will have a much harder time with the other fish. So the fish basically have a chance to get used to it in that box, and then after a week I will release it. And I mean, it is obviously it is a small box for it to be in for a week, but it's better than it being absolutely smashed. And let me show you it eating now. Now obviously it's not used to me filming it, so I don't know how it's going to respond, but let's see. Now if you see a cockband in the shop and it's not eating literally like this, where it goes straight to the food immediately and then obviously just keeps munching away constantly, do not buy that fish. If you want success with cockbands, this is what they need to be like. Because if they're not like this, they will never be able to compete in your tank. And I know I've said it before, but as you can see, it's eating mysis, which is so much more nutritious than brine shrimp. So if you put brine shrimp in the tank at the shop, and it takes maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes to consider it, and then it takes one bite of just brine shrimp, that is not a fish you want to take. This is how you want to see them eating. As you can see, it does drive the other fish in the background crazy. I should have fed them first, usually I do. But I just wanted to give you an example of how they should be. Because this is not really a fish which most people should keep. Right, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoy watching my video. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. If you did enjoy it, why not click that like and subscribe button? And as always, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that supports the channel on Patreon, that buys coral from me, and even just the people that like and subscribe and comment on the videos, because all of you make a massive difference to my life, because you allow me to do this. So without you guys, I couldn't do it. So as always, I just want to say just an incredible thank you. So that's it. I will see you next time.